Camera 1 is rolling.
Audio.
I'm lazy.
Camera 2.
I just came back from vacation, guys.
Shut up. Hi everybody, and welcome to Nights at the Round Table episode next one. God damn it! Today we are discussing the 1996 film Mars Attacks. And I'm going to start with general impressions of the film. Eric.
I absolutely adored this movie when I was 14. It was hilarious, it was original, it was beautiful. I knew nothing. I rewatched it, and everything that I thought was original was just a bland rip-off. And not even done in a funny kind of way. So I was extremely disappointed.
Rob.
Similar story here. I thought it was pretty funny. I mean, I did have some criticisms back then, which haven't really changed, but I thought it was pretty humorous. This time I rewatched it last night and I was like, boring. And there was a lot of things I was just nitpicking at, so much so that I really couldn't enjoy anything about this. So.
I had not ever watched Mars Attacks before reviewing it for this morning. And along the common theme to my very strange sense of humour, this didn't tickle my funny bone, unfortunately. I have an issue when somebody's idea of comedy is a bunch of buffoons running around. And this was a bunch of buffoons running around, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to. So, yeah, I guess we're all in agreement. Is there anything that bothered you specifically about this movie?
I thought about it long and hard since last night. This is either a movie made by someone who watched classic science fiction and missed every single point of it, or it was someone who watched all the classic science fiction and went, damn these liberals, and decided to make a conservative science fiction where it's all about war because people are jerks and everyone's stupid. That's the only answers. Either someone hates science fiction or hates science fiction.
Are you in agreement with that?
He does make some valid points. Like all of them. But, let's start this off. The first thing that really struck me about this movie was the opening credits. Because I watched it with my girlfriend, and she had never seen this before. So credits are, going up, and she's looking at this, and she's like, oh wow, this is a really good cast.
Fantastic cast.
Nicholson, Annette Bening,
Jack Black.
Jack Black when he was young and thin.
I did not recognize him until he got on the bus, and I'm like, wait a minute!
Before he started acting as Jack Black.
Yeah.
Then the movie started playing, and we were like, ew. So these fine actors did nothing to save a really bad movie.
Well,
I would argue that Jack Nicholson was the only one who leveled the ham high enough to almost get a giggle. Especially with that last "Can't we all get along" speech. I was like,
On the subject of that, I thought that this movie would have been far more interesting if it had not been Jack Nicholson playing that role, but Jack Nicholson's Joker playing that role. That would have leveled the damn playing field.
It really feels like the director went to everyone else. Okay, don't ham. That's too high. Too much ham. Lower the ham. But Nicholson would go a little bit higher.
I would disagree with that. There is the guy who is trying to open the Cosmic Casino thingy hotel.
That's Jack Nicholson.
Also Jack Nicholson? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like,
the two characters who were super hammy were Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, okay. All
but
right.
you have Michael J. Fox, a brilliant comedian, completely wasted.
To be fair, he did a great job in the straight role.
Yes.
For as long as it
was
lasted.
not really that straight. It was the exaggerated version of a previous role.
The
super
conservative
that
guy.
Yeah. the rumor behind the movie is that the director and the writer had the playing cards that the movie's based off of, and would throw them on the ground and randomly pick up one, and that'd be a starting
Hold on,
point.
wait. There was one character who I did like.
The grandmother?
No.
No.
Natalie Portman's character.
Yeah, the daughter?
I thought she did a good job. I just thought the character was highly underused.
Well, which is typical of...
Yeah. But the other thing...
No, you're right. They gave her a lot of ability to be like giggling at the funny parts and
But
being
more
teenager.
importantly, she had thoughts.
Yeah.
In fact, she was the only character in this... Sorry, the only female character in this entire movie who had an IQ over like 52.
Yeah.
I would argue she was the only character that had any kind of IQ.
Yeah, but specifically, it was really, really bad.
The boxer. I liked him as well.
Yes, he felt like he was in the wrong movie.
He felt like he was in the wrong movie. Exactly that.
Actually, everything about this movie felt wrong. It felt like they were like, ooh, let's do Martian attacks, but do it disaster style. Big Independence Day, which came out around the same time. So, or big War of the Worlds, where we see it from different points of perspective. And then they just sort of fizzled out. They're like, let's introduce this guy for 10 minutes and then kill him for no reason.
Yeah, it fell short on almost every point. There was no humour, really. There was no suspense. They attempted to do a sort of creature type movie as well in some parts, and that also fell flat. I mean, I really liked the opening sequence. I was going to say it was a really beautiful tip of the hat to the old style creature movies.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, all right, excellent, good. They
the
know
music.
Yeah, the music.
Danny Elfman is brilliant.
Yes, but as soon as the music started, I'm like, well, you can tell this is a Tim Burton film.
Yeah. Yes.
By music alone.
Oh my God! Someone Burtoned all over this thing. Oh, it was quirky for quirky's sake. He reused props. The skeletons were props from Beetlejuice, where you see them in the lounge, which he's used before.
Yeah,
he reused
I don't mind
actors.
that,
He reused concepts. He reused gags.
Even the style of the aliens was a little bit Beetlejuicy.
Yes.
He wanted them claymation, but the studio said, "No, nobody's doing claymation. Let's do digital effects," which worked out great.
There was one particular scene, and that's when the aliens were all getting ready for war, and they're all marching up in a line, and then they get the suits on, and they march on to get the guns. That whole sequence was straight out of every single Tim Burton film that ever there was.
Yeah, you could almost hear the Halloween march.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. It was.
I do think we need to do a vote on one thing. Do we give thumbs up or thumbs down for the Speedos?
For the aliens?
The nearly naked aliens?
Why? I mean, they mentioned earlier that there was a lack of genitalia. Why did they have modesty loincloths? Like, what's going on?
I assumed it was part of their bodies. Like, military people had a tattooed bikini.
I don't think so. I even found the Speedos a little bit more girly than guy. I think they were just slightly cross-dressing aliens, and they...
There was slightly cross-dressing aliens.
There was no political problems on the ship that forced them not to, so they were just, like, doing what they do, rocking it.
Well, it's hot up there.
Yeah, it's Mars, right? It's a hot planet.
So, yeah, that might have been one of our thumbs up, or one of my thumbs up of the field.
Oh, yeah?
I like the Speedos.
One thing I did like was Pennywise, the clown from It. You could see him in the back in one of the tanks on the spaceship of the alien. He's just like...
Oh, I missed that. The thing that I saw, the only thing I saw that made me giggle was in the president's safe room. You have the map of the world in the back, and all of the countries are lit from behind, except for Australia, which has the lighting around the outside of Australia, because everything's backwards in Australia.
Oh, God.
That is the only part that made me giggle, was that small detail. I'm like, that was it.
I didn't giggle, but I almost laughed a few times at Jack Nicholson's portrayal of the president.
I didn't. It was just one more buffoon. I'm so tired of people thinking that stupidity is funny.
It's a reverse buffoon. Normally, in these movies, you've got the president, oh, well, we gotta go to war, let's get nuclear. And in this, you've got the president who's like, oh no, we can't kill them. They might be friends.
Yeah, I don't want to start a war. You're already at war. But it's still...
It's a reversal,
it's
boring reversal.
It's still buffoonery. It's still idiocy. And stupidity is not funny. It's just
No, I disagree. Stupidity done well can be funny.
I have yet to see stupidity done well, so...
Hitchhiker's Guide. There's some people in there who are absolute morons, but it's funny. The one thing that really... I know I shouldn't be applying logic to this movie because there was none. The one thing that really bugged me about the aliens is they were advanced. Yes, but they weren't advanced enough that toying with us the way they were was okay. Like, several of them died while they were just having fun playing with the barbarians.
Well,
I would have preferred if they were nigh invincible until we found their secret law.
Yeah. It brought to mind things like Critters and Gremlins. The way that they were mucking around and being idiots.
Yeah.
Which it works for Critters and it works for Gremlins. It doesn't work for a technologically superior species.
It works as satire, but it wasn't done well enough.
No, that's it. It wasn't done well enough to be satire.
I think the one thing that I liked back in the day that I still liked about this movie was when the humans send up the translation because they thought it was a mistake or
cultural misunderstanding.
Yeah. So and they print it out on their little ticker tape thing and
they all burst out laughing.
They're going So they get to the boss. The second in command brings it to him and he's like, and they're both like, bah! So I did find that funny. I still found that funny. But the dove. How do we feel about the dove?
They're white pigeons. I don't give a shit.
They do. Lots. But, sorry. It was...
Poop jokes. Really? Poop jokes.
Well, that's the level of this movie, right?
No, that poop joke was much more sophisticated.
It was... They come in peace and the guy releases the dove. So I maybe go, why is he just standing there with a dove this entire time?
Poor dove.
Right? I mean, I understand maybe somebody might have hired one of those
like
dove trainers, and they open the cage like they used to.
No, this guy was just strangling a dove.
Yeah, and then he's like, they come in peace, and
but
then
again, remember, made by a bunch of conservatives. The dirty hippie was abusing the animal.
No, it wasn't even just that it was. I think they were going for absurdity in that, and it was very absurd. But I just
no, it wasn't absurd.
My thing about the dove
was dumb.
Is that
yeah,
if the dove had actually had some meaning.
Other than peace?
It could have been... No, I mean, because it was sort of, an iconic, like they're talking... It's a peace treaty, there's the dove, somebody releases it. From a media standpoint, it would be like, oh yeah, this is the shot, But given that their actual killing of the dove was not part of a misunderstanding or had zero relevance to anything that came afterwards...
It was a plot device to make a cultural misunderstanding seem plausible, is what that dove was.
I'm not even sure they thought it that far.
Honestly, I think this... I read in the description that they had 58 characters originally, and they cut out most of them.
I should bloody well hope so.
Script. So it feels like just... Oh, let's take this scene, this scene, this scene, this scene. I guess we have to have some landing.
There was no real flow. It was just a bunch of random scenes strung together.
Even Danny DeVito's character. What the hell was the point
What was the point? It was just having Danny DeVito be angry.
It was a cameo, and they put him in the credits.
Yeah, it was easy money for Danny DeVito, is what that was.
I did like that the original script had the aliens, because they put a placeholder of ack, and they just decided to keep it at the end.
Yeah, so...
Which actually makes it a little funny.
To
start with.
Quacking like ducks.
The first, 3 times you hear ack, you're like, haha.
Oh.
But I would have liked to have seen thought bubbles, or little translations of them going, ha ha ha, these guys are so stupid.
One of the things that did make me laugh
Was the guy running around with, we're
with
your
the translator.
friends! Stay
Don't run. We are your friends. Don't run with the translator. That made me giggle
But-
a little bit.
Again, it made no sense because it's why does this alien have the human translator?
Because they-
why do they not have one of their own to do that with?
Yeah, right? Technologically advanced society doesn't even come with a translator. Like, dude, you're the one making contact. And you would think you would have prepared for this. What the fuck?
Even just like at the beginning where the Martians are coming out of the ground, be like, let's go fuck up some humans.
Yeah, or something.
Or, hey, the school's out for the day, let's go have fun. Something to...
And also, when the humans finally decided to launch the nuke, the president was like, "This is a bad plan," and I was on board with the army. I'm like, "You should have nuked these guys earlier." But at the same time, I was also on board with the president because it was pretty evident
that the nuke would do nothing.
That the army was so bad at their job that
Following the long tradition of incompetent military, and I'm done with this trope. I am so done with it.
All the military was incompetent in different ways. Even the black general who was like, I told you, honey, if I just sit back and don't say anything. Yes, because you can become a general by being a total... what's the word I'm looking for here? Dish rag?
Yeah.
Wet blanket?
I don't know. The first thing that really bugged me was that Jack Black's character. They went out of their way to show this scene where he's like putting apart the rifle, and then when he finally goes out there, he ejects the clip. Come on.
Yeah. Also, what really bugged me is the spaceships are finally invading in force, and you're like, hello, Air Force? Have you scrambled any jets?
There was one jet that was exploded.
There was one. One jet out of the... Okay, so the United States Air Force is the largest air force in the world. The second largest air force in the world is the United States Navy. Where the fuck were you? It really...
They weren't in the budget.
Yeah, right?
But also remember, this was supposed to be an homage to 1950s. That's why all the military vehicles and all the military armament and even the uniforms are all 1950s.
I just thought Nevada got shortchanged on the budget.
It's a trope I am so sick of. I'm just so sick of it.
Me too.
You don't have to have an incompetent military to make an alien invasion a significant threat.
Actually, having a competent military that is completely useless
makes it more threatening. Exactly, why this trope drives me up the wall. It's just the aliens were like, haha, we can do anything we want. I'm like, yeah, you can. You know what? Fuck it.
Maybe it's an American thing. They're like, oh, Doctor Who has competent military. Let's not.
You would think of all countries, America would want to display the military in a most austere and robust fashion.
Arguably, they're...
By the same logic, though, they don't want to roll out competent military and then have it destroyed. They'd rather show incompetent military and then have it destroyed and then be like, but if this really happened...
We got good people.
That's just terrible filmmaking.
We wouldn't put Jack Black in the front lines.
God. Ugh, I hate this trope so much.
He should have had a guitar.
So much. He should have had a guitar. He should have had a guitar that shoots flames. That makes as much sense as anything else in this movie.
The alien weapons were like super soakers that fired laser instead of water.
Yeah, they were Ghostbuster things. Yeah, they were actually in design.
They really looked super soaker.
Yeah. I mean, don't cross the streams.
They looked the old school 90s super soakers, like the Super Soaker 400 or something.
Before they were bought by Nerf.
Yeah.
The only people who could use a weapon, apparently, all the military is getting killed, and they don't pick up the alien weapons.
No, it's just these two kids who play video games.
Just these two kids who play this oddly similar video game.
Yeah. It basically looks like they took the Time Crisis engine and then substituted in the Mars Attacks film.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
Time Crisis, man.
I don't have any problem with them doing a spoof of science fiction. I just wish they had done it properly.
Okay, spoof of science... I should drink more. Spoof of science fiction done right is Spaceballs.
Spaceballs or the one with Tim Allen?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember the name
The
of it.
Star Trek
either.
spoof.
Yeah.
Galaxy
Quest. There we
Thank
are.
you.
Galaxy Quest. Also, Red Dwarf. Very, very funny.
I loved Red Dwarf.
Right? That's done right. This
or Hitchhiker's
was...
Guide again.
Yeah, this... Yes. This was a mess. This was a colossal mess. And I'm really disappointed because the opening credits promised me that they knew what they were doing. They knew the genre and they were going to toy with it. And they just didn't.
They knew only the bad parts of the genre and ignored anything interesting.
It's a shame. It's a real shame.
It's sad.
And it's a shame because of the stellar cast that they had.
The stellar cast, the budget, the...
How much was the budget anyway? Because I feel like they got shortchanged.
For 93, that much special effects. And they paid to film one of the hotels, the one that collapsed, that exploded. That was an actual hotel that collapsed in Vegas. They filmed them demolishing it.
Probably where they spent all the
needle.
money. And then they shortchanged everything else.
But other than that, I don't know. I mean, the cast alone must have been expensive. Maybe not Natalie Portman, because...
She was very young then. And
although she was in the movie, The Phantom Annoyance, that year.
Speaking of spoofs on science fiction. Sorry.
I think I'd rather rewatch the Star Wars prequels than watch this again.
I will take Jar Jar over Ak any day.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Right. Okay, so we've been ragging on this movie quite a bit. Is there anything that you really enjoyed? Or at least enjoyed enough to make note of it?
I think in the spirit that they wanted to get out of this movie, and the spirit I would like to remember this movie, I'm just going to stick with the Ak, which has become part of popular culture, and I'm just going to keep that in here and just forget the rest of it as if it never happened. Just waves washing over the beach.
Is there anything
Calmness, serenity, no bad filmmaking.
Serenity.
I will still always be a fan of the "Can't we all just get along?" Wow, that is a terrible impersonation. But I like that hamminess. But I wish I hadn't changed the audio track, because I started watching it on the music-only audio track by accident. And I was about 5 minutes in, and I'm like, why is no one talking? Oh, the music's so pretty. That's what I wish I had done. So yes, music.
There were some things that made me smile, like the running around with the translator going, "Don't run where your friends don't run." That did make me giggle, and also, for all the wrong reasons, Tom Jones, when his backup singers turn into the Three Martians, and he's like, "Jesus Christ!" It was the most Welsh thing I had ever heard, and then that made me giggle. But other than that, there wasn't an awful lot that made me smile about this movie.
I kind of enjoyed the flying saucer attempting to squish the Boy Scouts with the big Washington penis thing.
Oh, no, yes, the Washington penis thing. The
Washington
obelisk?
Memorial?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
It's an obelisk.
Sure.
The phallic symbol in the middle of Washington. I
kind of enjoyed watching them destroy the monuments, but
I enjoyed.
I didn't see that in every other movie.
I enjoyed for the stupidity the Easter Island bowling ball incident.
They had to build the obelisk because it would have been really awkward to have the picture, the big statue of George Washington with a huge boners. Nobody would have posed with that.
The Taj Mahal blowing up and them taking pictures was kind of funny.
That made me smile.
But again, it was a mild smile, and if the movie had been mostly silly scenes like that, I would have been okay with it. But they spent more than 60% building up completely idiotic characters. You know, I would have actually enjoyed seeing it from just the Martians' point of view.
Yeah.
While they go and torture people.
Yeah, buffoonery for me is not funny. I don't think it's funny. It never tickled my funny bone, and that might speak more to me and my snobbery than anything else. But stupid people aren't funny. They're just not. And everybody in this movie, everybody was stupid. And I did like a few things. Like the Easter Island bowling scene made me smile. The blowing up of the Taj Mahal with
the fact that it was
pictures.
country music that killed them.
The fact that it was yodeling, that made me sort of smile, but I wish it was more...
That also
No.
doesn't make sense considering it was the same pitch and notes as some of the girls.
Bad
screaming.
yodeling is not the answer.
Bad yodeling is always the answer.
I just don't want to know the question.
Yeah, that's it.
Not the answer. I do agree with Sonia here. They were going for funny. They got sad and tragic.
There were a few moments that made me smile, but I wasn't laughing as much as I expected. And that might be a problem with my expectations.
You expected it to be funny?
I expected it to be funny, because everybody talks about this movie and how funny it is.
I remembered it fondly. I was wrong.
Oh, well...
My childhood
Keep
hurts.
it in your heart. Your
Okay, star rating. Let's do this.
Well,
Finish this
final
off.
thoughts, then star rating. Wrong.
Oh, I have to have more thoughts about this. I don't want to have more thoughts about this.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah, sad and tragic. Really disappointed. 1 star.
I'm going to put on my English major hat here and say, to truly mock something, you need to understand it. And this movie fundamentally doesn't understand science fiction. Mm-hmm. It understands blowing shit up and stupid people. 1.5.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat as you. I don't think that they understood the genre at all. Any aspect of any of the genres they were trying to portray. Not science fiction, not monster movies, nothing. And, yeah, I mean, I've said it 10,000 times, buffoonery is not funny. Comedy done well is actually incredibly clever. And there was nothing clever about this movie, I'm sorry. 1 star. Alright, who wants to pick the next one?
Go ahead, Rob.
Okay.
Wow, an average of 1 or 2. That's really bad.
1.125.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, it is Tim Burton.
I like Tim Burton.
I like Tim Burton's movies.
I haven't liked a
generally.
Tim Burton movie since I was 15, apparently.
Really?
Oh boy.
I love the Corpse Bride.
They've been getting worse.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2002.
Perfect Ham! Another great soundtrack.
I haven't actually seen this movie, but I am familiar with the computer games.
No. The two have nothing to do with each other.
No.
They have. Oh,
You've
really?
got to completely divorce the two. They take elements, and that's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, good to know. So, the next time we discuss a movie, we'll be discussing Resident Evil 2002. If you have any thoughts about Mars Attacks, I'm sorry, leave them in a comment down below. They will also be on our Goodreads discussion group, even though, strictly speaking, it's not a book.
Except if you disagree with us, in that case, shut your hole.
No, if you disagree with us.
No. If you disagree with us, leave your disagreements.
Intelligent disagreements. Don't just call us poopy heads. That's what they say on the
Although
internet.
You can call us poopy heads if you really want to. At least that will be mildly amusing. Alright. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!
Hack.
It's a trap.
There we go. Somebody got coached.
Let's act.